How much would you spend on a completely untouched wild Mustang? $100? $1,000? $5,000? What about $15,000? With the facilities finally opening back up, it was nice to see a new online auction event posted on the Bureau of Land Management website. We always enjoy a little window shopping for Mustangs and picking out our favorites. I also keep an eye out for horses that could potentially be Rooster's mom, although she may already be adopted or moved into long-term holding. This auction has a ton of horses, and there are several that really caught our eye. There are a few ways to adopt a wild horse, and one option is the online auction format. You can place bids over the course of about a week, and once the event ends, you pay for the horse you won and arrange a pickup. Usually the BLM will give adopters a couple different pickup location options to choose from. But we'll get into more details later. Let's look at some horses. I was a little bit late to the online auction. This started earlier today, but I've been working, so I didn't have a chance to go through and show you guys before it started. Some bids have already been placed. I have picked out some of my favorite horses though, and we're going to go through all of those. I was curious how much this 14-year-old gelding would go for. He's a flashy color, but he definitely isn't built the best. He's got a big old head compared to his body size. This gelding is from Stewart Creek, Wyoming. I do like how Wyoming has a lot of big drafty horses that come out of there. Whenever I'm looking at a Mustang for myself or in the future to rehome, I try to look at them and their conformation to make sure that they've got natural athletic ability and they're going to be able to do what I'm asking. Since I want all my horses to be well-rounded, I try to just pick a very balanced body conformation with a strong back, nice straight and clean legs, and good hoof structure. That boy didn't match what my ideal body conformation would be, so we're going to keep looking. This 9-year-old Pinto mare is only 14 hands tall, but she is a big, thick thing. She might be a little bit overweight, but I do really like her build. She has a very thick neck and could probably use to be on a bit of a diet. With her being only 14 hands and so big and stout, she would make a really nice pack horse. You don't have to lift the loads as high, and she could certainly handle a heavy load in the mountain country. She is a little more amped than some of the other horses, but I would rather them be reactive like this than just standing there freezing. You have to remember that these horses are 100% untouched other than when they get worked through the chutes for branding, vaccinations, things like that, or when they get sorted into different pens. So their opinion of people up to this point hasn't been the best. This girl was from Arapahoe Creek in Wyoming. I would much rather buy a 14-hand horse that is big and stout like this than a taller horse that's more slender, even though I am tall. Good. I always like to pick out my favorite horse and the one that I think will go for the most money. In this auction, it happens to be the same horse. This is my favorite and the one I suspect will go for the most money. She's an 8-year-old blue roan Pinto from Arapahoe Creek, Wyoming. Even though this auction just started, she's already up over $5,000. Jason and I were talking about her and contemplating putting in a bid, but we both agreed that we thought she would probably skyrocket way over our budget, which she did instantly. This girl is 16 hands tall, which is a great size for us since we're both on the taller side. Her color is definitely flashy as well, but the thing I like most about her is how she acts when they're moving around in the pen with her. She doesn't seem to be in a freeze state, even though she's not blinking a whole lot. She doesn't mind getting a bit closer to the lady that's working her around. She even feels comfortable enough to pass between her and the fence at a walk. Sometimes these more confident Mustangs can have a tendency to be a little defensive at first. Some people call it aggressive behavior, but usually it just comes out because they don't understand what the people are asking them to do and they're just trying to defend themselves. This girl is also on the chunky side. She is definitely my favorite out of all of these horses though. It's pretty crazy that she's already over $5,000 when this auction just started. If we come back here, we can see her bid history. It looks like the proxy bidder is winning. What this means is someone can put in a set amount, like say $7,000. Each bid has to go up by at least $5. So your first bid's going to be $125. That's the starting bid on all of these horses. But if your max is $7,000, the next person can come in and put $130 and your proxy bid will automatically come and bid $135. Then the other person can bid $140, yours will jump to $145, and so on and so forth. If the other person wanted to, they could put in a bid for say $2,000 and then yours would jump to $2,005 until you reach your max proxy bid. A lot of the horses on this particular online auction were a bit on the older side. There's this really pretty 9-year-old mare. A subscriber of ours actually emailed us this mare and said she's going to try and bid on her, so I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this mare and hope that she wins her. She is a very beautiful dappled buckskin. Her mane is ridiculously long. She does have some dead dreads hanging there in her mane, but it's still going to be amazing when it gets brushed out and it all grows back. This mare is really well built. I like how she moves as well. She's already $1,500 and the auction has just started. I'm hoping she doesn't go too high and our subscriber that emailed us can go ahead and get her. You might be wondering what these white numbers are on the hindquarters of all these horses. It's a freeze brand of the last 4 of each one of these horses' ID numbers. If you've ever noticed the freeze brand on a Mustang's neck, that mark actually tells an important part of their story. A Mustang's freeze brand is like a permanent ID, and it's red what's using the alpha angle system. This helps identify where the horse came from and when they were gathered. The top symbol represents the Bureau of Land Management, showing the horse came through the federal wild horse program. The next numbers show what year they were born. The numbers after that show the individual horse's ID number. Every freeze brand is unique and it allows the BLM to track each Mustang's history. Not all Mustangs end up getting adopted though. When horses go through multiple adoption events without finding a home, they may be moved onto what's called long-term holding. These large pasture facilities, usually in the Midwest, where horses can live out their lives in big herds with plenty of space, food, and care. They aren't available for public adoption at that point, but they're looked after and they're able to live in a more natural setting for the rest of their lives. People tend to have mixed emotions about horses going to long-term holding. At this particular facility in Bruno, Idaho, where this mare is, they don't like to put neck tags around the Mustangs. You may have noticed neck ropes with a hard plastic tag on some of these Mustangs with 4 numbers. That is the last 4 numbers in their ID number. At Bruno here, they brand all the horses on their hindquarters with those 4 numbers instead of putting neck tags around their neck. Horses are also branded here when they go to long-term holding, or when they're headed there if they don't get adopted at this particular event. There is this pretty blue roan mare. She's 8 years old and she's 15 one-hands tall. Blue roans are definitely one of our favorite colors. She's built decently well, but there's another stockier blue roan that we're more interested in, and I'll show you her in just a minute. This girl is also from Arapahoe Creek in Wyoming. It's good to see that she has quite a few bids on her already. Let's see how she looks moving around. This is another one of those horses that have such a long mane. I think some of these dreads are probably dead and you would end up brushing out a lot of hair, but I bet it's still going to be long and gorgeous when it all grows back in. She's a little more shy about coming over to the lady that's standing in the pen, but she's not being crazy and bouncing off the walls. Another one of my favorites is this 8-year-old mare. They're just calling her a Pinto, but she's almost this bay roan type coloring. She is from Stewart's Creek. One thing I've noticed about a lot of these horses that are in Bruno particularly is that they were rounded up quite a few years ago. Most of these horses were rounded up in 2020. Bruno, Idaho is a private holding facility and you can't go there and look at these horses. so their only chance to get adopted is when they're up on the online adoption. Speaking with a lady that works in Bruno, it sounds like they'll send horses even as young as 5 years old to long-term holding. It always surprises me because when they put the horses up on the online auction, they usually get adopted. I'm sure owning an adoption facility definitely has its difficulties. There's a lot of mixed views when it comes to Mustang roundups and adopting out Mustangs. I do wish that Bruno had at least a couple days a week where you could go view and adopt these horses though. That bay roan Pinto mare was really cute and she was already over $1,500, but now we're going to move on to Jason's favorite. This blue roan mare is already at $1,600. She's from Crooks Mountain HMA, which is also in Wyoming. It looks like she was rounded up in 2020 as well. She is an 8-year-old and she's 15 hands tall, so she's about the same size as Rooster, our 3.5-year-old Mustang, is currently. She is also branded for long-term holding, but I think with the number of bids on her, she is definitely going to find a home. Just like the others, she is very well fed. I like how she's just kind of slowly trotting around in here. She's not too amped up. She's pretty nervous about the ladies standing in there, but that is to be expected from a wild Mustang. Even though these horses have been in the facility for 5 years, they're not handled and mostly they're just moved from pen to pen. They usually move them with flags and a side-by-side. Some facilities use other horses to move them as well. I'm a little bit tempted to put a bid in on this girl for Jason because he liked her so much. I'm really not opposed to buying an older Mustang. While younger Mustangs have more curiosity and are maybe a little more malleable, older Mustangs that have been out on the range for quite a while definitely have more self-preservation. Older horses are also a little more mentally mature, and sometimes that can make training them quite a bit easier. It's been a couple days and we're going to come back and see what else is available for adoption. Because we're on the taller side, I don't really like horses any less than 14.2 for us. So I'm going to put in some height parameters just to see what's available. This 15-year-old sorrel gelding caught my eye with his funny little blaze. He isn't built the best, but that facial marking is definitely unique. It almost looks like he has a skull on his head. He's 15 hands and he does have a few bids on him, so that's good. Our blue roan Pinto mare is now up to $7,500. I thought she might go for a couple grand, but I did not think she was going to go this high. There's 3 days left in the auction still, and she's already at $7,560. It looks like someone finally won out the proxy bid. While on a Mustang Facebook page, I did catch rumor that this Pinto mare was being bidded on by a sanctuary. This bay roan Pinto mare is now over $5,000. It's a good thing we didn't have our heart set on either one of these girls because there's no way we would spend that much. This dark bay colored horse really caught my eye. But watching the video, it is definitely extremely fractious in this pen. This is the type of personality I shy away from. This horse is running without really thinking at all. They aren't putting much pressure on it either. This is the kind that would make me nervous, might jump out of your pen. They could come around with time for sure, but I wouldn't go out of my way to adopt a horse like this. There's this 8-year-old brown female. This mare is 15 hands tall. I'm kind of surprised she doesn't have more bids than she does. She's very similar to those blue roan mares. She has a little double swirl on her head. If you believe in that stuff, it can mean that they have mixed personalities. She does have a little bit of a weak top line. It could be from having so many babies over the years. Let's check back on Jason's favorite blue roan mare. She's at $2,906 now. I don't think I'll probably be bidding on her, although that would make an awesome birthday present for Jason. He does have an interest in adopting a Mustang someday. After we adopted my Mustang, Rooster, Jason definitely took an interest in them. If you guys want to join along with our Mustang journey, we have a full playlist of Rooster from the time we picked him out, picked him up, the entire generaling process, all the things we've done with him over the past year. We've saddle started him, we've hauled him all over the place with us this past summer. We took him to Ty Evans clinics. We started riding him. We got him used to a pack saddle and ponying in the mountains. We went up on mountain adventures and even packed a bull elk out on him. We've put quite a few rides on him in the round corral, and now we're starting to ride him off the property. I'll link his playlist at the end of this video so you can check it out if you want to follow along with our journey. I came back to check on this roan and see how much she was going for. She's over $8,000 now. There's no hope in me adopting this mare, but now I'm really curious how much she's going to go for. There's 3 days left, 2 hours and 25 minutes. Unfortunately, with only a couple days left in the auction, it seemed that the BLM's website ended up going down. This caused an issue for a couple of days, but they extended the auction because of it. When the auction was back online, a lot of these horses' prices had increased by quite a bit, which is to be expected. One of the 8-year-old blue roans is now over $500. The thick, chunky 14-hand Pinto mare is now $445. I'm actually kind of surprised that her bid isn't higher. A lot of the other Pinto horses definitely went for a lot higher price than she's going for, such as the blue roan Pinto mare. She is now over $15,000. I'm not exactly sure who's bidding on this horse, but if they want to spend that kind of money, then I see no problem with it. If you have that money to spend, at least it's going to a good cause and going back to feeding more of these wild horses. There's been a couple of times where wild horse sanctuaries bid this much on one wild horse. I've always found it a bit strange because they could be adopting a bunch of horses for $125 with that 15 grand instead of just one single horse. I'm hopeful that it's a private party that's purchasing this mare. We only have 1 day and 10 hours left. Let's check on this buckskin mare. She is over $1,600. I'm really hoping that the subscriber that reached out to us is the one that is winning this bid so far. She really wanted this mare and I hope she wins her. This other Pinto mare actually dropped down to $2,500. You can retract your bids. She was over $5,000 at one point, so someone must have retracted their bid on her. Still, $2,500 is a lot of money for an untouched wild Mustang. This little dun mare I hadn't showed you guys before. She was in my favorites. She kind of reminded me of Rooster, but she's definitely more slender build, even though she's 15 hands. I would much rather adopt the 14-hand Pinto mare for me to ride rather than this 15-hand more slender mare. She is pretty cute, but I don't think she would be quite stout enough for me. Jason's mare is still at $2,900. I shouldn't really call it his mare, but this is definitely his favorite horse and I wish so badly that I could adopt it for him. We will definitely get Jason his own Mustang one of these days. This little Palomino is pretty cute. It's an 8-year-old mare. She's over $1,400 now. I don't like the build of her hindquarters quite as much as some of the other horses, but she's going to be super dappley when she sheds out. She's only 14'1", so she's a bit small for me. She's from the Diamond Hills North HMA in Nevada, and she was also captured in 2020. Always like to look through the Twin Peaks horses because that's where Rooster came from, and that is also where his mama would have came from. This horse caught my eye, but it's also 14'1", which is too small for us. It's also fairly dainty as well. This bay horse caught my eye, but not for good reason. There is a giant lump on the side of his face. It's probably an old injury, but these are some of the things you really need to look out for when you're buying horses off the online auction. It can be pretty easy to miss things like this. There's also some weird wrinkling in his hindquarter. Let's see what that looks like on his video though. This weird wrinkly patch on his left side looks a bit like Herta, but could definitely be just some sort of old injury. It appears as though the skin is pretty stuck over that patch. So definitely check out all these videos very closely and make sure you don't end up purchasing a horse off the online auction that has something like this that's going to be a big surprise to you when you do get him home. He does have one bid, so that's good. It looks like this guy might be going to a new home, and hopefully they are aware of his condition and are able to just give him a nice retirement. I saw that they had a horse from the South Steens. It was this 16-year-old gelding. He is 15-2 hands. He was rounded up in 2024, so just this last roundup that they did in the South Steens. He is a pretty thick boy. He is already over $1,700, so he'll definitely be going to someone's place. Some of you who have photographed this herd might know which stallion this is. I'm unfamiliar with him though. For being out on the range for 15 years, he sure looks to be in good condition. I'm kind of surprised he doesn't have more scarring on his coat than he does. I decided to look at all the horses from Wyoming, and this 8-year-old buckskin mare popped up. She is on the smaller side as far as height goes, but she's a cute little mover. I like her little question mark like blaze. It's got some pretty neat etching around the outside of it. She's built pretty nice, and overall I really like this mare. I'm kind of surprised she isn't going for more. There is another Pinto that I don't have saved to my favorites. She's going for $2,300 already. She's 15 hands and also pretty stocky. She's maybe a little more flighty than some of the other Pintos, but she still seems like she has a pretty decent mind on her. Growing up, I boarded my horses at a place that bred paints, and a lot of them were black and white Tobianos that looked very similar to this girl. We will come back tomorrow for the last day of the auction and see what these horses went for. While I was looking at a Mustang group on Facebook, I did see that a lot of people were posting that this Pinto mare was showing that she was going for $21,000, but on some people's servers it still said $15,000. I'm still not sure if someone put in a bid for $21,000 and then retracted it, or if it was a glitch in the system, but there were plenty of screenshots to prove that she really was at $21,000 at some point. When I checked, she was still at around $15,000. It is the last day of the auction and time is about running out. Most of the horses on my favorites list are over $1,000. Maybe that just means I have good taste. Jason's blue roan mare is at $2,900. A lot of these Pintos are over $2,500. Our South Steens gelding is still over $1,700. He's had 109 bids put on him. He's a 16-year-old untouched Mustang. Jason's favorite blue roan is $2,906 still. This one's had 88 bids on it. I'm not going to place a bid for that when I can go to a facility and adopt one of these guys for $125 still. The big blue roan Pinto mare is at $15,240 now. With only 3 minutes remaining, I'm curious to see if she will continue to go up or not. This mare that our subscriber was bidding on is now at $2,505. I haven't heard if they are winning the bid or not. These two Pintos are over $2,000 each. This 14 hand Pinto mare, the big thick one, is still at $555. I'm actually kind of surprised that she's not going for more compared to the other Pintos. Watching this auction gets me so excited for the day that we could go pick up another Mustang. I have the one in mind that I would love to go get. I actually have some history with her. She got adopted and relinquished. I contacted the facility the other day to see if she's still available, and she was, so we're really contemplating going and picking her up. This little Palomino I wanted to watch and see how much it went for. It's already at $1,400. There's only a minute and 24 seconds left in this auction, so it's starting to get down to the wire. There's a lot of horses that don't even have any bids on them, and quite a few that only have one bid on them. The horses that don't have any bids will probably end up on this online auction at a later date. If that particular horse is passed on 3 times, then they'll go to long-term holding. Let's check on this Pinto mare and see how much she ends up going for. I'm going to continue to refresh as the clock counts down. And with the auction over, it looks like this mare went for $15,240. Would you guys pay $15,240 for an untouched Mustang mare? I'm not exactly sure who bought this mare, but if I find out, I'll make sure to let you guys know. Thank you guys for watching, and if you want to see more Mustang content, don't forget to subscribe. We plan to adopt a lot more Mustangs in the future.
Good.